Hello everyone, it's Kate Spencer. I'm the author of the 12 Lessons book series and also the founder of Life and Soul Academy, which is a life-changing online membership. So I'm here today to talk about law of attraction, and I'm going to touch on something called resistance. So what is resistance? Resistance is when you have a discordant vibration. So we probably all know about law of attraction by now, thanks to the success of books like The Secret and Asking It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. So when you are manifesting something with the universe, we are all made from energy. And when you align your energy with what it is you want to create, energy is magnetic and you can draw that into your experience. You can draw it into the periphery of your experience, but for it to be fully delivered to you, you have to allow it to come in. Now, because we are humans, what can happen and does happen frequently is that we set up some kind of resistance to what it is we are trying to create. Now, when I say set up, I don't mean that we do that on purpose. We usually don't know that we are doing it, which is what makes it so tricky, because we think we are manifesting what we want, but in truth, we might be sending out a vibration or a frequency that's actually blocking what we want. And that's when the law of attraction is quite nuanced and it is a little bit more tricky to understand. So what is this resistance and where does it come from? Well, it might come from something in your past, it could come from something in your present, but it's a frequency or a vibration that you're sending out there that is not in alignment with what you want to create. And sometimes it can actually be quite opposite. So say, for example, you're manifesting more money, more income and more flow. You're doing your affirmations, you're doing your guided meditation, feeling what it's going to feel like when you have more abundance, when you have more flow. But there's a little part of you from the past that perhaps has experienced extreme lack and you don't feel worthy of receiving the money that you're asking for. You might not be aware of this. It could be buried very deep in your subconscious. But if stuff that you're asking for and that you're lining up with isn't actually manifesting and coming into your experience, it's because there's some kind of resistance. So imagine it like this. Resistance is like you ordering something and then taping up your letterbox so it can't be delivered. And it can be super frustrating. And of course, that becomes ironic because the more frustrated we get, the lower our vibration is and the more resistance we set up. So there are several things that you can do about this. First of all, find the resistance. And this is what we call doing our work. So digging in with ourselves, journaling, meditating, take a walk, get really real with yourself, do a bit of a self-audit, think about a timeline of events. If it's something specific that you're trying to manifest, have a look within and see what it is that could be opposite, that might be blocking. What beliefs do you have? Beliefs are where it all starts because beliefs create frequency. And frequency is what we use to attract in what we want or what we don't want. And they are also what creates resistance. So you could try asking yourself some questions and journaling out the answers and really getting invested in what you're thinking and how you're feeling, because that is where it all starts. So that's one thing. And then once you find a wound, once you find an issue, once you find a belief that does not serve you, it's time to change that. And once you're consciously aware of the beliefs that you're carrying, so it's about bringing them into the light of your present conscious experience and identifying them. So many of us are running subconscious programs all of the time. All of us are actually. If you're conscious and more aware, then you'll have less, hopefully, and you will be more aware as a result of what it is you're saying to yourself, what you're believing, and what you're holding on to. But once you know what they are, then you can do something about them. And that could mean seeing a therapist, reading a book, looking up some YouTube videos about EFT tapping, writing a burn list. There are lots and lots of things that you can do when you need to do what's best for you. If anyone tells you you should do something, the only thing you should do is what feels right to you. But certainly once you've identified a belief that is creating resistance for you to what you're manifesting, it's up to you to heal that. Also, stuff that's low vibration in your energy body, so things like jealousy, resentment, past trauma as well, all of those things can set up resistance to you creating what it is you want to create. And this is where you need to do the work, because no, it's not fair if you went through trauma and shit happened to you in your life. It's absolutely not fair, but it is still your responsibility to sort it out now if you want to create a different outcome and you're trying to manifest a different experience. So that's the first thing that you could try, is really getting real with yourself and looking at where your resistance is. And the second thing, and this is probably a lot flowy and easy in comparison to what I've just said, is to simply practice being in a state of non-resistance. Now that sounds really easy, doesn't it? It also sounds a bit woo and a bit airy-fairy, but bear with. If you can start, instead of focusing on doing the work and digging in with yourself and it all being really hard and feeling like an uphill struggle and difficult and a lot of work, even the words do the work sounds like work, doesn't it? If you can instead focus on being in non-resistance, so that's going to be getting into your happy place. And this feels immediately a lot lighter and a lot easier and a lot better, doesn't it? But perhaps there's a part of your human mind that might have resistance to this even and start piping up that, well, that can't help, that's not possible. But think about it for a minute. If you could really be in a place where you felt really happy, you felt very grateful, you shifted your focus to the abundance that is all around us, in nature, for example, the fact that you are experiencing a life where you have running water, you slept in a bed, there's food on your table. If you could shift your attention to the good stuff and start getting into deliberate appreciation, gratitude, thanks, and shifting your focus to that, that would be a state of non-resistance. And if you can start identifying in your life and sending your focus to what is good, what is in abundance, what is plentiful, what you can be grateful for, you're starting to send a frequency to the universe that my life is blessed. So there might be a cynical part of you that thinks gratitude journaling or being in gratitude is all a little bit twee and a little bit Pollyanna. It's not really. It shifts your frequency and your focus into a state where you can allow so much more easily. And the stuff that you've lined up with previously, the stuff that you've worked on manifesting by daydreaming, meditating, aligning by feeling as if it's happening now, those things can suddenly start to find a way to be allowed into your experience. And here's the other interesting thing that happens when you can do this. You start to get signs and synchronicities from the universe to follow, and they're like little breadcrumbs that the universe will give you to help you get to your goal. So almost like stepping stones. So you might find that when you're in a state of non-resistance, when you're in a state of allowing that, and you've already lined up with what it is you want to create, that suddenly you start seeing adverts for applying for a different job, or you feel like you're going to join a dating app, or you buy a scratch card, or you see the perfect house that you want to move to in an estate agent's window. You have a conversation with someone that ends up taking you in a direction that's really helpful, or you read an article in a newspaper, if people still read newspapers, or see something in a shop window. So the universe starts to send you these breadcrumbs, and then our job is to notice them and to decide what action to take. Because if you're really leaning into that overarching vision that you want to create and sending that energy out there into the universe, And you can release your resistance by being really grateful for the life you've got now, yet still wanting more and knowing that that is totally okay, because you want to expand your consciousness and your experience whilst you're here in human form, and that is perfectly all right. Then the universe is going to support you and it's going to start signposting you. And that's when things can get really, really exciting. So I started looking years ago to move house, and I found the house that I wanted really, really quickly. And I actually sold the house that I was living in at the time within 2 hours as well, because I'd gone really, really broad and I'd leaned into the feeling that I was living somewhere happy, surrounded by trees, lots of light, very airy, feeling connected. I didn't focus on the detail, and I got into a state of non-resistance, and it showed up. So try some of those things if you're feeling like your manifesting is getting you nowhere, because once we start to think that it doesn't work, we set up even more resistance. And you can do this. Okay, please don't forget to subscribe, leave me a comment. It really helps me, and I'm curious to know what you're manifesting too. I will hold the intention with you that you can draw this into your experience, and I would love to see you next time. Bye for now.